Welcome everyone to another inspiring edition of the Limitless Leaders Lounge. This is the place where we sit down with extraordinary people who are making an impact, challenging limitations and using their knowledge, experiences and influence to transform the lives of others. And here at the Limitless Leaders Lounge, we believe that every leadership isn't simply about a title or position, but it's about the impacts, the courage, the service, and the willingness to use what you have learned to help another person move forward in their journey. And today's guest embodies beautifully what we've just said. I have the pleasure of welcoming Kate Campbell, an accomplished consultant, family, systemic and couple psychotherapist. She's a supervisor. She's an MSc Tutor. She's a lecturer and a research supervisor. Wow. How many hats can one woman wear? As well as the director of Zahara Therapy Limited, Kate brings a wealth of experience from across psychotherapy, social care, education, and research. Her work really explores something that touches every single one of us in one way or another, and that is relationships. How we relate to ourselves, how we relate to one another, and how the systems and environments around us can influence our mental and emotional well-being. Her contribution to the field has also received significant recognition. Zahara Therapy Limited was recognized through the GHP Mental Health Awards in 2025, and Kate herself has been named Consultant Systemic Psychotherapist of the Year 2026. Wow. What a powerhouse of a woman. What can we call her? A superwoman, perhaps? But as we always say on the Limitless Leaders Lounge, behind every qualification, every achievement and accolade, there is a journey. And there are lessons learned, challenges that have had to be overcome, and lives that have been impacted, and often a deeper sense of purpose that keeps a leader moving forward. So today we are going beyond the titles and awards. We're going to discover the woman behind the work. We're going to explore Kate's journey into systemic psychotherapy and talk about the relationships and mental well-being and that she mentors through. And also we want to hear some of the wisdom. This is what we're really looking for. The wisdom that she has gained through the years of working with individuals, couples, families, and future practitioners. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and join me as we welcome our guest to the Limitless Leaders Lounge, Kate Campbell. Welcome to the lounge. It's wonderful to have you with us. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you so much, Leticia. What a warm welcome. It's absolutely lovely. It's a real honour to be here. And let's take this journey and see where it takes us, this conversation. It's a real honour to be on this, and I want to say thank you. You're a real powerhouse yourself. So
thank you so much. Kate, I was exploring your works and I said, wow, Wonder Woman. So if you don't mind me calling you that, Wonder Woman, I think that has to be today. So your career spans across quite a dynamic range of works there. We're talking family therapy, systemic psychotherapy, teaching, research, supervision. Can you tell us about your journey and what inspired you to dedicate your life to supporting individuals, couples, and families?
Yeah, I mean, where did it all start? Did it start in the womb? Did it start in, my mother's tummy, really? Just to say, I'm sort of UK born. I'm of Ugandan heritage. I don't speak all the languages, but was brought up in the UK, in the north of England. And, my family was known to services. I don't think, going back, there was necessarily the support that families already had, that could get. They were, as lone parents, immigrants to this country, or even Ireland. There was a lot of challenges, I think. in terms of how the services were set up, how young Black families were perceived, but also just the help wasn't in place that it might be now. So I think sort of starting off in terms of what inspired me to, I suppose, try and be a bit useful, to try and offer a little bit of spaces, to try and make a slightly different, different experience, I suppose, for young women out there, young families out there. I suppose it's about doing the bit, really. I do come from a family with like strong social justice background. So we've always not been far from some political reading or political motivator or something like that. So for me, I was always around spaces where there was lots of debates, lots of conversations, lots of politics, lots of social justice causes that were meaningful. And also whether I felt that I had my voice. I was the youngest of 5. I don't know if I had my voice growing up. But I learned and absorbed lots and lots of information, lots of really rich conversations and discussions. And I suppose developed a sense of injustice as well, and how services and stuff weren't set up, how families, young people were struggling, whatever that looked like. So I suppose to me it's about us all playing our parts and just being part of something better, really. So that was, I suppose, some of my motivation. What can I say about my journey? I think I'm still on a journey. I'm learning every day. I wanted to really dedicate, it's been a really tough week for many people that would know, of Black and global majority people. We've had the sad death of Professor Jason Ardy, who is extinguished academic. I'm not going to speak about that much here today. There's lots of other processes going on behind the scenes, but I was at the vigil on Monday at Trafalgar Square, and so moving, and that has, I suppose, that's where my head is at right now. But actually this also feels quite timely, because I think we've all got our bit to play. I think it is tough out there. You might see people who seem to be successful and they may seem to have it all sorted, but at the same time, it can be really, really tough navigating different spaces that aren't necessarily meant for us. So, yeah, I suppose, it's an ongoing conversation, it's an ongoing collaboration. I think that's where I'm at, really.
Okay. Well, what I got there from what you've said is that you've been in a family that are already in this similar type of work. So that has been your anchor. That has been what has really helped you, even from a young age. You mentioned being 5. You felt that you don't know if you had a voice, but you certainly knew how to use your voice because you saw the people around you using their voice. Whether it be for other people or for themselves, you were already in that. So there's an element of nurturing I can see coming from that.
Definitely.
You said, did it come from the womb? Possibly did, because if your parents were in that field, you were walking around in the womb with them.
Yeah.
You were definitely walking around in the womb with them. So that does help shape us. So that's really brilliant, and I love that you carry it forward, and you essentially making it a family legacy.
Yeah, I try to, and I thinking even at school was quite tough. We brought up in the north of England, so I was brought up in Hull, which I'm still really proud to say it was my home for many, many years. And school was quite tough. Our family did look very different to many other families out there. There was the usual racism and bullying that many people have had wherever they were brought up. But at the same time, what can I say? There was just schooling was quite difficult. I felt quite misunderstood and I suppose I put my head down, got into academia in the way. Probably didn't do as well in my high school as I maybe could have done. But I did my best, and I tried to absorb it all and mixed lots of noise around, actually you look different, so we're going to sort of make sure that you know about it.
Well, the good thing is, once you're past school, it doesn't matter what grades you had, it's what you make of life.
Exactly, and I think that's really important what you've just said, Leticia, because I didn't have the normal academic route. I did a lot of this as a mature student, and I was thinking about that the other day on the bus. I was going home and I was like, actually, you sort of flunked high school. So there was a bit of that going on. You know, I went into sort of the big high school thinking I was somebody and I knew it all, but I actually flunked out at the end. So a lot of my, I suppose, education at secondary education level has been done as a mature student, and I think that's important. So for me, there's something about somewhere along the line people were believing in me, and because of that, that's allowed me to have the strength to say, actually, you are good enough in these spaces. So I think for me, it's really important about trying to bring people with you, and be mentors for others, because I've certainly had plenty of mentors myself.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you know, there's nothing that teaches you better than the school of life.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
So, let me just ask you this question. As the director of Zahara Therapy, which is an award-winning psychotherapist organization, what have been some of the biggest lessons you've learned about leadership, resilience, and building meaningful relationships? Because that's one thing you mentioned there as well, relationships.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I work across different spaces. So I work 3 days NHS, I work 2 days in sort of senior academic, and then I do my private practice probably 1 day a week. But you know, never mind all the emails and other things, that is like an ongoing job, I suppose. But in a sense, do I see myself as a leader with Zahara? Well, it's taken a while for people to sort of acknowledge and recognise. I mean, I'll tell you something. So during the pandemic, we were all going into spaces as Black, global majority people. We were going into lots of different spaces that we didn't even understand what was happening. Clearly, lots of people were losing loved ones. People were in really tricky work, community, educational spaces. And, you know, for young people that were going to university, etc., you know, they just sort of lost a lot of that time. They didn't really have it in the same way. And we were going into meetings and we were suddenly realising, okay, well, this is what our standard job is. But then it was like, okay, we need volunteers to do X, Y, and Z. Who will do it? And suddenly we're walking out with like 3 or 4 other jobs on top. And we thought, oh, this is brilliant. We're just being recognised and aren't we amazing and all this. But actually, there was probably some sort of toxic relationship going on there with the leaders that you were looking up to. And sort of saying, come on, we know you're being paid at whatever at this level, but we want you to step up for free and just do all this extra work. So, you know, there was a lot of naivety, I think, then, but it was sort of a fun space, but it was also a bit like, actually, are we qualified to do some of this stuff that we've been asked to do? So I found I was in spaces with like-minded people, setting up sort of staff wellbeing groups. Sometimes they were small, sometimes they were bigger, working with sort of staff network leads in sort of quite senior positions. And then sort of training family therapists in different spaces. And I was also doing my own training as well at that time. So, it's a bit of a minefield as like how things sort of emerged. So on the one hand, there was, I suppose, a leadership that was just sort of taking shape and not really calling it that. And I decided, I spent probably a year working for a national wellbeing hub as a volunteer. And that was basically, I was working in the NHS, but basically there was NHS people at all levels just really struggling with their own mental health. Probably I was part of that as well, struggling with my own sort of sense of my identity and where I was and what is this thing. And and there was people that were giving up 5 days a week to do this voluntary work, and they were like quite really skilled and experienced people. And I was doing it as an add-on, and I thought I can do that. And it was really, some of the stories were harrowing. But oh my gosh, some of the other people were like, hold on, I was saying to the guy, look, you're really skilled, you're experienced, you're setting something up, but you've got people working for you that are really, really like qualified for nothing. And they can't be doing this for 5 days a week. Like, you know, where do they get something back from this? So I did it for a while, but I thought, at some point you need to either get some funding or start to pay the people properly what they deserve. But so there was a lot of really strange things going on. So I suppose we were all leaders in our own way, whatever that means.
Yeah, and I think it having been throughout the pandemic, it was a period where everybody felt that they need to give something back, whether it be to the community or within the workspace, because there was a lot of people that were dropping out of work, people were furloughed, so people just needed to do something more. And a lot of people volunteered their time, and sometimes to a point that was a bit detrimental to themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely there. Yeah, definitely. But you don't realise, because there was so much of everyone just trying to work it out. There wasn't a manual about the sort of pandemic and COVID. I was part of a group of, I suppose, NHS people in the trust that I was in at the time, and we ended up doing a video around George Floyd and just our experiences and how we sort of came together in a space. And even to this day, that video is still being used. Some people have tried to take the video down and pretend it doesn't exist, but it somehow has found its way back up. And I'm actually proud that we, again, everyone was exhausted, but we found the strength to say, you know what, we're stronger, safety in numbers, isn't it? We're stronger doing something collaboratively together. And that's what I believe all of this is. It's about finding your networks, working together and collaborating, because this isn't about just me or you or individuals. It's about us all coming together as a collective, whatever that looks like.
Well, that's brilliant. So, I mean, many people hear the term systemic psychotherapy, but may not really understand it. Could you explain what it means and how our family systems and relationships shape our mental and emotional well-being? Yeah,
so it's a really good question. In the old days, we would say family therapist, and we would say, actually, whether it's individuals, whether it's families, whether it's systems or teams, we're more than just the individuals in us. We're more than just the, emotionally how we're responding to things or the feelings. It's much more as well. It's both and. It's about the social system, the holistic self, and all the different parts that make that up. So whether it's myself as a daughter, as a sister, as a grandchild, all of those things, as cousins, etc., and the different parts of the work that I do, the things that I enjoy doing, what I bring to the spaces. It's about all of that stuff. So as family therapists or systemic psychotherapists, we're thinking of systems, we're thinking of, and again, it's about what are those relationships? Who is in those relationships? Is it a couple relationship? Is it some of the tricky family relationships? And I'm smiling because, I just think of some of the sibling stuff that's going on right now in my own family. And anyway, that's for another time.
Every family has its ups and downs. Yeah.
Of course it does. And I think that's what makes us being able to do. We can empathise with, actually, it doesn't all go smoothly. It's not always as you'd expect. But I think also our more tricky experiences that we have, whether it's within or outside of family life, gives us an understanding of actually when conflicts exist, when communication breaks down, what are we placed to do something different about it? Do we want to have different types of conversations, make different meaning of these things? How do we identify individually and collectively within these spaces? So in a long roundabout way, as systemic psychotherapist, as I say, the posh name I would say for family therapists, it's about all of those different, how we all relate and interconnect with each other therapeutically. Yeah.
And it must be a very interesting job. So you sit the whole family together and you watch them quarrel.
We see part of the family, we see the whole family, we see basically family therapy borrows from so many different modalities, and that's the joy about it. some people will find it very wishy-washy. I love it. So no 2 days in my week are ever going to be the same. So we sort of say, whoever wants to turn up, we'll work with you. What we say as well is, we're not going to force you to come. We're not going to force you to come to a space that actually is not right for you right now. It's not going to be useful, and you don't need us in your life right now because A, you haven't got the headspace, and B, someone's telling you must come.
Yeah.
Because people have to be ready. So what we'll say is sometimes we might start with, I don't know, who's most wanting things to change. So that could be a parent saying, come on, things are really breaking down. We might have had, a quarrel about something, or we're just seeing things from a different point of view. Can you come and work with us? And that could be any number of people within the family unit, extended family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever wants to come. So you can be, I was sitting in we do a initial consult for anyone who's wanting some work. And I was sitting in, I thought I was sitting in online with a family that wanted some work during the pandemic. I assumed that they were all in different rooms in the same house. Actually, it worked out they were all sitting in different countries around the world. And I was offering them a piece of initial consultation because everyone gets a free 30 minutes. And that was their way of coming together and being able to communicate what was needed at that time. So I felt quite honoured because they'd gone through a process of deciding who they wanted to interview. But actually, it actually demystified that scariness of, oh my gosh, this family really know what they want. They're interviewing the therapist, but also in a way that we know what we want, which is really great. If people, then they're more likely to be invested in the therapy.
Yeah, I really like that. So they're all in different countries, but they come together to say they need to fix something. Because it's so easy, since you're so far apart, it's so easy to just say, I'm not going to call this person anymore, and then forget about them,
Yeah.
So I really like that they thought they need to do something.
Definitely.
So in today's fast-paced world, Kate, mental health challenges are becoming more and more common. What practical advice would you give to families and couples who are struggling to maintain healthy communication and strong connections?
I mean, I think one of the things is acknowledging that life is difficult, life is tough, that actually people do have different perspectives, different voices, and that's okay. I think when it's not okay is when it becomes harmful or abusive, when it's a bit like power gets played out in ways that are really unhelpful and they get really stuck. But there's something around recognising actually we are in a routine or a stuck pattern that isn't helpful. It's becoming something that this is not what we intended in the first place. So do we need a space to think creatively with a third party or someone else to sort of get us to be heard and feel validated for our own points of views, which are really important, but also is there a better way that we can function and still be together? So we give each other space, we also have a space for voices and perspectives, but also sometimes you're not going to agree and it's okay to disagree. So there's all those things, but there's also something like actually just try. Talking therapy isn't for everyone, but just give it a go and see. Like I've had my own, I would always continue to go, but I have to have external supervision from my private practice, someone to oversee to make sure the work is ethical, that I'm doing what I should be doing or say I'm doing. And it's just that other head to help me to think, actually, this is the dilemma I'm bringing. Am I being useful to this family? Or actually, should I be saying, we've taken things as far as we can in the last few months, and actually you would be better working with someone else that can see a different perspective. So it could be that I'm too close to them in different ways. So whether that's my race, my gender, or it could be something else that from my past could be too triggering, and we're just stuck in this unhelpfulness. So that's why it's really important to be able to reflect somewhere outside of that space. Am I being useful? Am I doing what I initially planned with this family? Or I like to also say to people, actually, if it isn't working for you, it's fine to go somewhere else. Because I see people sometimes, and sounds terrible, but there's people I've known that might have been going to the same therapist for, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years. And you're almost thinking, well, do you have a space? Do you have an opportunity to step out of that if it's not working for you? And sometimes it's almost like there can be a dependence that's not healthy or whatever. And I just think you need every so often to check in and say, look, how's this going for you? How is this working?
And do you feel, because you just mentioned something there, you said sometimes it may be that you're too close to them, perhaps. I don't know if it's from your country you're from, or maybe your demographics, or maybe you just resonate with them differently. Do you feel that sometimes you have to check your own biases?
Oh, totally. And sometimes I could lose what they look like. So for instance, one of the things in family therapists, like my supervisor might say to me, well, who do you feel most connected to in the room, in the space? And I think we should all be honest with ourselves at times and say, well, actually, the young person that might be bringing some stories of being bullied in the school or whatever, and they didn't want able to go and speak about that or whatever, that could be it. It could be, I don't know, a parent that's had a loss or whatever. It could be many things. But I think sometimes when you're in it, when you're in that space, you can sort of lose sight of that. So supervision, sometimes we have reflecting teams. So we might have a team of therapists that are either in the room or they're next door looking through the one-way mirror or two-way mirror. And they're like, oh, I noticed you were like this. I noticed you were drawn to that. I noticed. So it's almost like we've always got this critical eye that's looking over us. But obviously in private practice, we don't always have the opportunity to work with other teams. That's why I have monthly external supervision. It's really, really important.
Yeah, I think it is. So Kate, I mean, you've been recognized with prestigious awards, like the Consultant Systemic Psychotherapist Year of 2026. What impact do you hope your work will have on the future of mental health, healthcare, and the next generation of therapists?
I think there's something around, we're all on a journey. And the way I look at it is, the day we sort of say, look, we've arrived, or we're better than. Years ago, a friend of mine said to me, so I started off as a social worker before I was a family therapist, and that's not uncommon. And one of my really close friends, even to this day, we used to be colleagues, said to me, you never know who's on that interview panel, the next interview panel you're on. So basically, you better respect who's in front of you. And I've never forgotten that. So every day I value, I respect, I learn from, we co-create. I think it's about co-creating in the space because I'm learning as much from the young people, the families, the parents, the carers, or the systems and teams that I'm working with. And it should be vice versa. So there's a conversation that we're co-creating together. And the minute power always comes into it, of course it does. But the minute we forget who we are, or there's suddenly about, well, I'm here because I'm 10 times better than you and all that sort of stuff, then there's a problem. So there's something around, again, that agency of, what are we doing here together? What do we think we're doing here together? We're always setting goals for family therapy. So it might be session goals, or it might be, okay, let's try 6 to 8 sessions and see where we go. This will be the sort of the aims of the work. You might start up with about 2 or 3 goals. So there's something around, it's the models. So next year I've planned to do a systemic leadership course, which I'm really excited about. And that will help me to think about what is the models that I might be using, the therapeutic models. I'm bringing them from business, other psychology, and other different modalities to help me be more useful to the families that I'm going to be working with, or the young people, or carers. And again, it's about my learning. So what am I doing after I've left the therapy room? I should be reading a lot. I should be listening to the podcasts. I should be trying to make a better version of myself. So when those things are recognized, I actually feel it's the young people and the families that I've been working with that are part of that award as well. So I really say thank you for acknowledging those. But I do think you could have all the awards in the world, but actually you do have to remember where you came from and that you're still on your journey of learning.
Yeah, don't let it take over you.
Definitely
Yeah,
not. Definitely not. Definitely not.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, but also you could have been a therapist for 20, 30 odd years or something, and then a new therapist comes along and they have a new style of doing something, and boom, they've gone right up to the top and
Yeah.
become the famous go-to person, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not linear. It's never
No.
linear. Yeah.
Definitely not.
So, Kate, the theme of our program is limitless leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on your own journey, what message would you share with someone who feels stuck or perhaps overwhelmed or limited by their circumstances?
I think, again, it's having a really brilliant network around you of support. It's about having downtime. It's about, this is really serious work and life's really serious. So you do need spaces that you can have fun. You need spaces where you have critical friends around you. So people who are not worshipping you, putting you on pedestals, they're actually telling you a lot of home truths that can be quite difficult to hear, but you
But
need
that's
those
still
people around
important.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
One thing I can't stand is somebody who only ever gives me praises, and I'm like, well, you're not helping me. Go away, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something around, again, we're on a journey. The journey is never, and the work's never done. So I think there's that. But also, where do we get our inspiration from? And again, I go back to Monday night. I was just so inspired in that crowd, and just realizing, oh wow, that person inspired me many years ago. Like different was a woman there that, you know, I was like, wow, look at you now, and things like that. And just people, these are just normal people who understand some of the struggles and the challenges, but it's never got too big in their own head, sort of thing. So there's just something about having that network of support around you, recognizing you're on the learning journey, and also sometimes we can't be helping everybody. Sometimes it's not going to be a good fit. But also self-care as well is really important. So going to music, doing my djembe drumming, just travel, reading, food, you know, all the things that just help you and keep you sustained really is just really important.
Absolutely. So I have a signature question that I often ask people.
Oh dear.
It's not a terrible one.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
If you could leave our audience with one piece of wisdom about relationships, what would it be? One piece of wisdom.
I think nothing comes easy. You've always got to keep working at it, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
So that was a 3-in-1. Does that count?
Yeah, well, yes, it does.
It's a bit of a cheat, but
don't be afraid to ask for help. It's such a big one because often some people feel that maybe they're embarrassed to ask for help, or maybe they've been disappointed so many times before. They feel like asking for help doesn't really give them anything, or maybe they just feel super independent. They don't ask for the help, but it's recognizing when you do need the help, because we can't carry it all on our own. We just can't.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, for sure.
Wow. It's been such a great time with you, Kate Campbell. And just like that, we have come to the end of another inspiring conversation here on the Limitless Leaders Lounge. Kate, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure, a real pleasure, honestly.
It has been, and it's just listening to your nuggets of wisdom has really, really I think I've taken some away. And it's perfect that this is recorded so I can go back to it and listen to it again. So thank you for sharing not only your professional expertise, but also your journey with us and your heart as well for helping individuals. One thing that has really stood out for me from this conversation today is that leadership begins with people. How we communicate, how we listen, how we understand one another, and how willing we are to grow and have an incredible impact, not only in our own lives, but also the lives of families around us, because we are all interwebbed. No one is an individual. We are always having an impact on somebody, whether you realize it or not. And to everyone who's watching today, thank you. I hope today's conversation has encouraged you to reflect on your own relationships, your well-being, and perhaps even the systems and experiences that has helped shape the person that you are today. And remember, being limitless doesn't mean that you will never encounter challenges. It means refusing to allow those challenges to have a final say over who you become or what you can achieve. Kate Campbell, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the Limitless Lounge.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leticia.
We appreciate your work.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. We will see you again soon, I'm sure, because sometimes I do invite people to come back again.
Definitely.
So,
our paths will cross for sure.
Definitely. We must have you back on. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.
Thank you.